All right, and there you go. Those are some of the key themes to watch out for when it comes to World Economic Forum 2026. The spotlight, of course, is going to be on that, and we'll keep getting you some more updates later as well. But for now, let's also take a look at Sun Pharma as well, because, that's also in focus. Before we sort of do that, let's also quickly take a look at what else we're watching out for in terms of key themes when it comes to this particular conversation as well that we have right now that is underway. NDTV Profit's managing editor Tamanna Inamdar is having a conversation with Rishi Kapoor, CEO of Investcorp, in Davos as well. Let's go across and listen in.
Cuba.
All right, we're kicking off our Davos conversations today with Rishi Kapoor, the CEO of Investcorp, right outside the Congress Center. This is where all the action is going to be. Rishi, are you excited about Davos after coming here for nearly 15 years? What's different this time?
Well, listen, first of all, it's great to be back here. No doubt about that. Bright and early on Monday morning at Davos. What else can you ask for in the freezing cold? But, on a more serious note, as you said, I've been coming here for over 15 years now. And we come here really with a few objectives in mind. One is obviously to make sure that we connect with our most important partners and stakeholders in a very efficient setting over a very brief period of time. Second is to get the benefit of a variety of views from all over the globe in terms of shaping some of our own thinking with respect to investment strategy in the near to medium term. And last but not least is also get the benefit of understanding what are the new pockets of innovation and excitement that we should be perhaps taking into account as we think about the long-term future. So it's wonderful to be back and great to be seeing you here.
So Investcorp manages about 5,000 crores in India, a lot of them, and all in the private equity space. That is red hot right now from an Indian perspective, much more than public markets, I would say, Rishi. What is your perspective there, even as Indian markets seem to be sort of muted?
So as you rightly pointed out, we closed our latest private equity fund back in the summer of 2025 at about north of 5,000 crores. But the money we manage in India is actually close to $1 billion. Wow. So it's even larger, spread across predominantly our private equity portfolio, where we've made about 18 investments over the course of the last 8 years that we've been in the country for. So in one sense, we are babies in the country because Investcorp itself has been in this business of private investing for over 4 decades. But in another sense, the experience thus far in India, but more importantly, what we see evolving and unfolding in India has been very encouraging and promising, right? It's been thus far, over the last 8 odd years, one of our best performing markets in terms of outcomes, returns for our investors, distributions to our investors, and appetite from investors to invest into India. So this recent fund that we referenced, the 5,000 crore fund, we have participation in that fund from our traditional clients in the Middle East, family offices and institutions. We have participation from domestic investors in India, both institutions and private wealth. And we have participation from international institutions that are looking at the market in India as one of the few bright spots of continued economic growth and therefore the promise of return.
Why private equity is also looking exciting is because of the kind of returns. What on average do you think are the returns that could be generated over 2026? How have these funds performed so far? Because those, and a lot of retail investors investing in the markets seem to be not hitting those numbers at all.
Yeah, that's a fair question. And I think you referenced earlier, also the divergence, if you will, that we witnessed of late in terms of private equity returns versus public market returns. So let's touch on both of those. On a baseline level, we tend to look, and we, like other private equity investors, certainly the global PE firms like Investcorp, we tend to look at returns in India initially in rupee terms, and those by and large tend to be north of 20%, right? It starts with a 2 handle. Is it 21%? Is it 25%? Depends on the underlying company and the nature of the investment and the stage at which you're at. If it's early stage versus late stage? Then the question becomes, beyond that, What can you do to turbocharge the outcome by investing in the right sectors, the right companies, behind the right management teams? But what do you need to take into account in terms of the likely depreciation of the currency for dollar-based investors, which is true for many of our own investors and also true for other global players?
I'm just going to interject there because that seems to be the largest problem when we talk about FI inflows into India. For foreign investors, it just doesn't make sense to see your investments or your returns depreciating with the rupee.
If you were to look at it just from that one lens, I would have to agree with you. But fortunately, we have the benefit of being able to take a multifaceted, multidimensional view to that. And the other side of that same coin is the fact that depreciation of the rupee that has happened at a slightly more accelerated pace over the last 12, 18 months has actually made India more competitive. Right?